Thanks for joining us today. I'm Gabe Garish, owner of Backwoods Pursuit, and today we're going to look at a tripod pan head here from Wiser Precision. This is the NightHawk lightweight tripod pan head. This is an awesome ultralight pan head that really shaves some ounces for you if you're looking to save some weight on your tripod setup, but still gives you great stability. I'm going to go over how this performed for me over the last season of testing. I've been using it out in the field for about the last several months while I've been deer and elk hunting here in Idaho. So I'm going to go over how it's performed for me, some of the pros and cons, things I liked and things that I didn't. So stick around as we do that. And as always, we really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button for us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And check out our website, Backwoods Pursuit. Link to that down in the description, a bunch of gear reviews over there. Let's dive into this review. All right, to start out, let's talk about some of the specs of the Wiser Precision NightHawk pan head here. This comes in at 6.1 ounces for everything. That's if you leave the handle on, which you can take it off if you want to. And if you do that, it takes it down to 4.9 ounces. So you can really shave the weight down to almost nothing. It comes with an Arca Swiss compatible here, and you also get an Arca Swiss plate that comes with it there. It is a twist knob as far as what locks or unlocks that plate there. And so, you know, some people like the twist, some people like the lever. You know, there's pros and cons to both of them. As far as adjustments on the tilt here, it's a twist handle, allows the tilt to be adjusted or locked in there. And then as far as pan, you've got a lever right here that's just a little handle, a little knob there that locks in the pan that way. It's real nice and easy. So there's not knobs and things everywhere to get messed up. It's just really simple and minimalistic in its design, which I really like. I really appreciate that. Just makes using it really easy in the field when you just need to get your binoculars or your spotting scope or whatnot mounted on there and take a look at something. So really nice that way. So the NightHawk pan head here comes in at 6.1 ounces with the handle and everything the way I've got it set up here with the slick 633 tripod. This is a full-size tripod that goes all the way to standing height. We've got a total weight here of 2.4 ounces, or I'm sorry, 2.4 pounds total. So you're under 2.5 pounds with this entire setup, which is awesome for a full-size tripod. So something that's really awesome that way. Now, using this out in the field, I primarily used it for glassing with binoculars. You know, this here is actually this is a product I've been testing out, the Oziok equipment. It's a binocular clamp. It's low profile, and it's Arca as well, so you slide it right on there and then you tighten that down. This works really well with any binocular tripod adapter. Of course, it's Arca, so you're gonna have to have an Arca plate if your adapter does not have that. But this is the perfect binocular tripod head, pan head. It's lightweight, it's super stable, gives you plenty of stability for glassing with binoculars. And it just does a great job that way. I used it a bunch and just really, really love it for that purpose. Now, I also had the chance to use it with a small spotter. This is the Koa 553. Again, another small, fairly lightweight or very lightweight spotter, and it worked awesome with this. This is not too much weight for this head. This really is designed for smaller spotting scopes and binoculars. That's what you're going to get the best use out of this tripod head for. But I did use it with the big one here I'll go over in a second, and it just worked phenomenal for the smaller spotting scope. Anything in the smaller size is going to work great. Again, Arca there. I did use it as well. We're out doing mule deer hunting here in Idaho. This is the Koa 883, so it's a big old spotting scope. I used this on there, and it actually did a really good job, way better than I thought it would. You do have to tighten that handle down pretty far to get that to stabilize and to lock. But really, you know, it did what it needed it to do. Yes, you can have a more stable tripod in the head, like the Shure VA5. I've used that a bunch. That's going to be more stable. It's a full-size fluid pan head, you know, but that weighs in around a pound, where this is just around 6 ounces. So you save a ton of weight by doing that. It's not ideal for a big spotting scope, but it does work. So if you're somebody who doesn't use a big spotter all that often, it's still going to work for that. One other thing that I used with this was this is the Field Optics FlexLight tripod gun mount, and it slides right on there because it's Arca also. This is not obviously an ideal type of a tripod head that you want to shoot off of, but if you need to, it's there and it still works for that. Certainly it's not going to be as stable as a real heavy duty fluid type head, but it does work. Let's talk about a couple of things that I didn't particularly love about this. Personal preference for me, I'm not a huge fan of a twist handle, but I understand why they did it as well. It's one less lever or knob to worry about, and it works fine. It's personal preference on that. Now, one of the things that I don't typically like about a pan head is it's really hard to get that tension just right so you can put it on there and then still make your minute adjustments. Well, that wasn't the case here with this. I was able to find a nice tension point to be able to still tilt and pan real smoothly with binoculars or tripod without having to completely loosen it or completely tighten it. It really was able to give you that tension that you needed with any of these optics, even the larger ones that allow you to do your panning and your scanning and your tilts and everything without a lot of excessive jump or anything like that. So it really worked well that way. I was impressed. I was really impressed with it that way. Another thing that I really love about this is the size. It's just super compact, as you can tell, really low profile. It's not bulky. Sitting in your pack, it's not going to stick out. You can throw that handle down or one way or the other, and it's just going to stay out of the way for you. Whatever you want to do when you're packing it around, it works really well that way. And this knob is just real easy. I really didn't have to mess with the pan knob too much. There's enough resistance and tension in there to where I didn't have to do much there. Really only had to mess with the tilt on this, and it worked really well. Now, a couple of things that I didn't like about this, and they're small and minute, but there's certainly things that I noticed while I was using this. One of those being in the pan here. And now, if you can see here, real minute amount. When you're panning here, there's a little bit of spring back. So you hit the point where you want to stop, and you let go, and there's just a little bit of spring back. And I noticed that going both ways. It's not a lot, but it's enough to take you just off center of the target of whatever you're trying to look at. So that's something that was a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping you could be able to just lock it right in there. It didn't seem to make a big difference if I really loosened the pan up. It still got a little bit of that spring back, regardless of how much tension I put on there. Again, you kind of get used to it. It's one of those things where you go past the object a little bit and it springs back just a little. So not the end of the world, but something I think that could be better about this. The only other thing that I really didn't care for on this was if you're using a tripod like this one, this is the Slick 633, and you've got a platform or a base right here that's a little wider, you can see that the base here is real small, and one of the reasons why it's so ultra light. But if you are using it in conjunction with this kind of a tripod, you bottom out right here. So if you're really wanting to look up a hill, or an extreme angle where this handle could bump into that platform there. I did run into that a few times where I was really looking up a steep hill with the spotter, and it wasn't able to get it as steep of an angle as I wanted. So that was the only other thing that I really noticed that I ran into as far as any kind of an issue with this particular tripod head. Now, this NightHawk is really designed to be used with their QuickStix system, and I'll grab that here and we'll go over how it fits into that. Now, if you want to get a system that is multifunctional, the Wiser Precision setup here is just that. It turns your trekking poles into a platform here that can hold the quick clip here, which also holds the clip that attaches the third leg here, so you can make this a tripod, trekking poles, a platform to shoot off of if you need to, and anything that Picatinny rail attaches to, that's a Picatinny rail attachment there. So it just really gives you a ton of options and then turns into a tripod, so you can use this to glass with your binoculars, spotting scope, that sort of thing. So it just screws in right there at the top of that, and then now you have your tripod here. It works really, really well that way, and it is still super ultralight. So let's take a quick look and see what our total weight is. This is the SNS Archery trekking poles and the whole rest of the Wiser Precision setup. And we will see where we're at. Let's get over to pounds here, and we are at 1.98 pounds. So we're under 2 pounds for a whole setup. That's including your trekking poles, which you're probably going to be taking anyways. So this is one of the lightest options you're going to find as far as a multifunctional type of a setup. So really awesome that way. Now, keep in mind with this setup, one of the things that you are compromising a little bit on is the stability versus a standard tripod, a standalone tripod. Obviously, you're getting a ton more versatility, but because of all the joints and the connection points, You have a little more flexibility, so you're not going to be quite as stable as a tripod, but you obviously are adding other features and other functionalities here with equipment that you probably are already taking anyways with you out in the field. So it's a great versatile option if you're looking to really shave ounces and shave some weight in your tripod setup, the trekking poles and whatnot. So take a look at this. I will put a link to this down in the description for you. It's a great setup. Drop any questions or comments for me down in the comment section. Happy to answer them for you and get you squared away if this is something that looks like it would be a good fit for your style of hunting. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll see you next time.